Hey, I have a second channel, Cube Comp MTDX. Hey everybody, here we have an HP Pavilion. Let me see what the model of this one is. A1642X and for service. I've actually been servicing this computer for many years now. So this computer dates back from, I want to say 06, because it's got the Windows XP and Vista capable badge on the front, and you can see right there Microsoft Windows XP Media Center Edition 2005. I must say this was a pretty nice machine back in its day. It wasn't fully loaded. The fully loaded machines would have composite video inputs and stuff like this on the front. Those were actually pretty nice machines back in the day. Of course, those were considered media center PCs. Oh man, I tell you, those were good. Those were the good days. So this machine here, last I remember, I think it's got Windows 10 on it. I don't remember exactly when my last service has been. Actually been a while. It's in noticeably worse shape now than it was when I last worked on it. I cleaned it out in a recent video. Got most of the dust out anyway. And you can see the motherboard. We got lots of failed KZG Chemi-Con capacitors. Now normally, like United Chemi-Con, they're actually a decent brand, but like some cap companies out there, even the good ones have had their bad series of caps once in a while. KZG was a bad series. And you can see, yeah, again, got a bunch of failed caps on this board. So we look at the front. This machine still does have this original CPU. It's a Core 2 Duo E6300. Of course, it's got the integrated Intel graphics. Definitely not bad for its time. You could load this up with probably 4 gigabytes of RAM, maybe 8, I don't know for sure. And you could run Windows Vista just fine with this thing. But it's seen its better days. It's got a Bestech ATX 312Z power supply. And if we look inside the vent here, it's kind of hard to see on camera, but this unit does appear to have the dreaded glue in it, the tan glue, which with time on hot surfaces will get dark and start to corrode away at whatever it's on, anything metal. So I'm going to pull that power supply and I'll open it up in another video. So I'm going to swap out the power supply unit and I'm going to try to start this thing up. I'd imagine if it runs, it may have some stability problems with all these failed caps. That means I'm going to pull out this power supply and stick a different one in there, at least for testing. Okay everybody, so I got a different power supply swapped in. This guy's sitting in there for now. It's actually my test unit. Funny thing is, it's also a Bestech ATX 312Z, but I've actually recased it into an old Raymax computer power supply case. So let's see what we have here. Well, this side's going to start up on its own for us, which could be good or bad. See, we got artifacts on the screen there. This, my friends, is what failed capacitors can do. So it looks like it's actually froze up in post. Yep. Yeah, it's already locked up. It's unstable. I'm going to try it again. I'm going to try shutting it off. It's actually not going to shut off. It just, yeah, I gotta switch the power supply off. Yeah, so it starts up on its own. And you can see Got artifacts all over the screen. Yeah, that's about all we need to know there. So, motherboard is definitely suffering from failed capacitors. One thing I will try though, before I completely deem it just failed caps, I'll try to reseat the RAM modules, because sometimes that could cause that too. Considering the capacitors right next to the DIMM slots are indeed bulging, could be safe to say that the capacitors feeding the memory modules, due to them failing, could be causing excess noise into the power circuits that feed the RAM modules. So I'm just popping the tab loose on the RAM modules and reseating them. But the fact that this turns on by itself tells me that it's likely the capacitors causing this. Definitely not happy at all, guys. So, reseat these RAM modules again. So, I mean, I think it's safe to say that the caps are causing problems. You can see, same deal. This time it will post, I mean, it goes into post, but yeah. Same deal. Got lots of artifacts on the screen. Let me see how much RAM we have in this thing. Let me aim the camera so that way you can see what I'm doing. So this is this is definitely a good example of what failed caps can do on a motherboard. Now, of course, most modern motherboards, I think they use polymer caps. They're not electrolytics. But older motherboards like this one here were slammed full of electrolytic capacitors. In many cases, the caps were generally okay, but in cases where they go bad, you can have all sorts of random stuff happen. Alright, so this thing has two 512 megabyte modules and a 1 gigabyte module. So I'm going to pop in just the 1 gig module. Apparently this thing's had some RAM in it before. I don't know if it was me or what, but and then stick that in there. Okay, we'll try it with just one RAM module. You see it still starts up on its own. Okay, it's going to probably, looks like it's going to complete post this time, maybe. Maybe not, it still froze up. Oh, okay. It's actually posting up this time. But we know that Windows 10 is going to be horribly slow on just 1 gigabyte of RAM. So that being said, I guess we'll let it try to start up, but we know it's just going to be slow. But I mean, you look at that motherboard, I mean, right there, two failed caps, failed cap right there above the south bridge, failed cap right next to the north bridge, failed caps over here next to the CPU VRM. I mean, this motherboard is just slammed full of failed caps. And we're actually booting into Windows 10, and if there's personal information on the desktop, I'll have to blur that out. To be honest, I'm actually surprised we're booting into Windows 10 at this rate with just 1 GB of RAM. So, I think it's safe to say we know what's going on with this thing. The failed capacitors are causing instability in the RAM, which I've seen that happen before on motherboards. It's been a while since I've really seen one, but it's something I've seen happen in the past. Because again, it was mainly with older motherboards like this one that have electrolytic caps, and sometimes those caps can go bad. Particularly the Chemi-Con KZGs, those were notorious for failing on these OEM Asus motherboards. Yeah, that's actually an Asus motherboard in this thing. Yeah. Power supply we know is good because, I mean, that's my test unit. I know it was good. But, I'm going to say this power supply over here probably would start up and run, but while that thing's booting up, I'll just show you real quick. It does have some failed caps in it, mainly on the secondary, and of course it's got the glue, but the glue is not on top of any critical component in the high voltage section, so it probably would still start up. Alright, we're actually seeing the desktop now, and of course with Windows 10 we know it's going to be dreadfully slow. So really, I think at this point I'm just going to end it, because all I'm going to do really with this machine is I'm going to make a backup of his files, and I'm going to probably end up selling him. Where is it at? That computer back there, that the HP on top. That's the one I recently put that socket AM3 board in out of that 2010 HP. I got that system up there up and running pretty good. So I'll probably end up selling that to him. So there you have it, guys. It's a good example of what failed capacitors can do. They can cause instability. This motherboard that used to work perfectly fine with 3 DIMM modules now only seems to work fine with just 1 DIMM module because of course, the capacitors feeding the DIMM slots. Power is those caps are going bad, causing instability in the RAM. So anyways, hope you all enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. Well, everybody, that wraps it up for this video, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like the video, leave a comment, subscribe to CubeComputer channel, and be sure to tick the bell. That way you get notified of new video posts. Also, I recommend following CubeComputer Company on Facebook. A link is in the video description. In addition to computer tech videos, I have a second channel, CubeComp MTDX. Links are available at the end of this video. Again, I hope you enjoyed this video, and thanks for watching and your support.